Okay, good morning, everybody. Well, I guess it's officially afternoon in Atlanta now. It is 12:02, and we are going to get started this afternoon. We only have an hour, so we want to make sure and use our full hour to the best ability. So I want to turn the time over to LaVon Wilson. She is our AT&T partner today, and she brought a special guest that she's going to introduce. And thank you all so much for joining us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is like the semester's going by so quickly. This is our second session. Today, I am so happy to bring to you Aneel Nath. He's my colleague. We work very closely together. He is the data guru at AT&T. He definitely fuels the analysis that goes up to our leadership. He works with HBO Max. You know, he is everywhere where data is. So he's like our master data architect in our environment. Not only is he very skilled at putting the data together, he's also skilled at lots of different analysis that he'll get into with you today. But definitely, AK is going to share with you some technology terms about different kind of analysis that you can do. We definitely don't want you to be afraid of data, and he's going to bring that all to life to you. So we call him AK at work, but his name is Aneel Nath. I'm so happy to present him to you today. Take it away, AK.
LaVon, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. And I'm so happy to be with you all as a family. And I was taking LaVon when she kind of shared me that, AK, do you want to be part of that? I was so excited because I just wanted to bring my knowledge and energy to my, new college students and families to make sure that, they never should worry about a lot of technology buzzwords and the data, and then all it feels like everything is complicated. I'll try my best in next 30 to 45 minutes to share with you guys the journey of how I have started and how you all should just feel like it's nothing. Anyone can do it. It's really easy. So with that, I'm just going to get started. So quick background of myself is, of course, LaVon mentioned that I work in AT&T. I'm in the organization of marketing technology. So in AT&T, of course, it's a huge organization. You will hear about HR, technology department, marketing department, sales organizations. But LaVon and I belongs to marketing organizations where we do various roles. And LaVon is a peer of mine, and as LaVon mentioned, we work extremely closely and we really get things done for the company. So I've been in the industry for technology about 20 years plus right now, and various technology industries that I worked is like logistics, transportations, current payments, and telecom. And just quick background of that, logistics, like I started my career in 1998 in India, Bangalore. Then I came to Memphis, Tennessee, working for FedEx, which is where I spent about 2 years working. Then I moved to Louisville, Kentucky, worked for a small startup company where the company revenue was about $18 million. But then when I left the company, it's about $250 million. Again, I was mainly on the technology side. And being in the startup organization, I worked basically everything, whatever they asked me to do, I did, from production support to a business analyst to a testing to a development, everything. And then before joining AT&T, I was on cards and payments. I'm sure you guys have heard of a gift card, credit card. Of course, we all use a gift card a lot. So I was working on an organization where we used to process pretty much every retail you hear, Kroger, Best Buy, everything. Every gift card that you see used to be processed by that company called Comdata. And then also Comdata is a trucking company, and every fuel card that every truck driver driving it goes to gas stations. There is a specific card called fuel card, and we were the processor of that, all the cards. And then I worked on a lot of things to do with tax. Trucking companies, like trucks drivers, move from one state to another state. So we have to make sure that they have appropriate license permits and all of that. So that comes under transportation. Then I was working for Teradata as a consultant. At that time, I was working for AT&T. And since then, it's been about almost 10 years. I've been with AT&T doing various roles. So that's about that. And my background is I'm a computer science engineering from National Institute of Technology in India. So that's about me. And currently I'm responsible for, as Lavan mentioned, pretty much everything about the data in our organizations, data architecture, analytics, visualizations, helping my clients within and outside. So that's what pretty much I do. I have a team of like 30 plus engineers working, day in, day out, trying to make sure that AT&T's business is growing, or making sure that is, a lot of analytics that we do, and we'll share with you in a few minutes here. So Lavan, any questions, comment, please feel free to, pause me, or if I'm going too fast, slow me down, both as well. So anyways, with that, I want to just get to the real business, which is like, it doesn't matter which industry you work on, whether it's a retail, logistics, telecom, which is AT&T, doesn't matter. It all starts with customer, right? If there is no customer, then there is no business, as simple as that. So definition of a customer could be many ways based on how people do business. But in general, simplistic way, you go to Kroger, from when it comes to the retail, it's going to be us consumer going, that's as a customer. When it comes to the telecom, we buy a phone, or we got the services, that we become the subscriber. So then we call it the subscriptions. But then when you go and buy direct TV, you are also a customer. Then it is at the account. Then you call it the account level. But if you are a mobility customer, let's say in my home, I have my wife and 2 children. So we have an account, but we have a 4 lines. So we call it like a 4 subscriptions, but with a 1 account. So it depends on which business you go, but largely business won't exist without a customer. Am I right? And then comes down to immediately what product you have. Am I right? So again, in terms of telecom, of course, our product is, okay, what kind of a price plan you are in. Yeah, even a 100 GB plan, or even an unlimited plan, or even an unlimited plan with an HBO free. So that's about kind of a product, am I right? Now, again, if you go to the retail, our product is what I buy in grocery stores and things like that. And if you go for a credit cards or payments, customers having a card, is your product. So depending on which business you are in, there has to be a product. Now, in our business, we have device, we have iPhone or Samsung or whatever it is, and then you have various accessories comes with that. So that's an important part of our business. Now, do we make phone? Not necessarily. We do make phone, but mostly it is Apple, Android, and all of that. But we kind of sell that phone as a service from our store. So I just want you guys to know that, we are, Lavan, I think we used to be a phone company, or used to make phone, but not really much right now. Am I right?
Right. We just get them from Apple or Samsung or LG or whoever.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Lavan. So that's that. And then comes down to inventory. Am I right? Like now, again, based on different types of business, if I was working for retail, of course, all of your inventory is every items that you're trying to buy, make sure that you have enough inventory. When it comes to the telecom, we do sell accessories, we do sell phone. Am I right? We need to make sure our store has enough inventory to serve our customers. Am I right? So that's about inventory. Then geography. Everything about data that we do, like customer, I'm in Texas, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm in Texas, Dallas. So you all are from various locations in Atlanta. So knowing about customer geography is very critical, not only from a customer perspective, is also from our telecom, let's say in our business. We may not be servicing in some of the locations, am I right? So that's one of the reasons why geography is an important part of our business when it comes to either the customer or the service that you are providing. Then comes down to demographics. Am I right? We don't have those demographics data, but our external third-party service provider like Newster, Markel, Epsilon, probably you'll hear those companies. They gather all the information about 250 million households, like race, ethnicity, region, as far as your credit score, as far as your income, all of that we get from those third-party providers. Then we blend with our data. Like, let's say, if I'm the college student, what are the college students are going to like? So we can segment based on those information. So that information has come from our external service provider, but it's an integral part of our data. Then orders are like, okay, you go, when iPhone launch happens, what happens? You all try to go for a pre-order, am I right? So that means you go to a store or you go to a website trying to order your phone. So that's kind of like a whole life cycle of an order management, starting from order submissions, or we go to e-commerce, am I right? We go buy all the time stuff from Amazon or other places. That's the whole life cycle is there, starting from order submission to an order cancellations to a shipment. All of that comes under that life cycle. Billing is again very important part of it. That's what gives the business the revenue for the customer. Like from telecom, we get a monthly statement for all our line items, where my money is being spent, the taxes, everything comes from the billing. So that's a huge domain. Like literally every subject area that I'm mentioning here, there are in AT&T probably most likely, or I know that there are different departments. There are small companies, they try to do all of those things together. But large organizations try to have various organizations taking care of billing, taking care of order management, all of that. So again, is this something, if you really look into our day in, day out life, you will see that it's pretty common sense stuff, am I right? I mean, I get a statement every month, or you get by email, the billing, am I right? So that's what it is. Privacy is also important, which Lavan and I work with very closely here against and all of that. Privacy is like when you go buy something, all right, you will see that, especially in online, you get to see it. Okay, do you want to get an email if there is any time when there is a new promotions or products coming up, am I right? And we have to do a click on that. That's an option that you are opting in and say, yep, I want it or I don't want it. So what happens is, why it is so critical, if you say, I don't want to get an email and filling up my inbox with all those junk emails, you could choose that as you are doing business, either in online or you're going to a retail store. They will ask those questions to you. We just have to be careful about, okay, do I really want those emails or want it? Sometimes, I do a lot of, okay, let's do it. Let's say my son plays tennis, and then we get a lot of emails about tennis tips and tricks. So I signed it up, so I get that email. So everything about opting in that messages, it's up to us. So that's one of the data that we specifically maintain, is because let's say an AT&T has 100 million customers. We don't want to blast 100 million people every day with a lot of products and promotions. That's not the business practice. It's all based on what we as a consumer want it. So we choose to say, yep, I want your promotions, or I don't want it. So that's about that. So that data is important. Not every business, it used to be not that very important, but when the days of e-commerce came in, it became more critical because everybody is scamming with phone calls or emails. So that's why this is so important. Then survey data, like survey, what happens is like, how am I doing it? Like a lot of times you will see that companies will send it to you. Like it's pretty important. Like every other phone call, they will say, "Can you have a 1 minute wait time or a few questions? Can you take it?" And in the phone, especially in the call center, or you will get in a website as well. So we store those informations because we want to learn about our customer so that we can do better. Am I right? So that's how we continue to keep that. Now, interaction data again. And I know, like in the earlier days, it was, like we didn't have the system to capture those informations. Today, like, we do interactions. Why do you interact in our normal day in, day out life? If you see it, You're probably calling for phone. Let's say you're calling call center. Okay, I called call center and I say I have these issues. Then you go to AT&T.com website and say, you know what, I want to buy this, or I'm having issues to buy that. Then you go to a browser in Google and try to see what am I like to buy and what's coming up, what's the new iPhone thing. So in the world of digital and in the world of offline, both offline I mean to say when you are calling, and when digital I say when you are browsing around in the internet, we have the technology, tools and technology to capture all of customer interaction, and also the people who are not customer of us, because those are, we call it as a prospect. Am I right? You know, that means they are not existing customer, you're trying to get it. So all interaction data is also being captured because we want to know customer journey. For example, one of you, let's say, have a phone, we went to a school and it's not working, you called call center, and then you went to a retail, and then you went to a website, and you are mad at AT&T, for example. Am I right? So we capture that, so we want to know immediately what happens. Oh, okay, this customer was not happy. Let us send a promotions or something. Let us save this customer because he's highly likely to churn. So keeping those interaction data helps businesses to understand the behavior of customers. Right? So it's a really important, and a lot of the modern technologies and customers or companies are spending a lot of times to understand. You know, you will hear the buzzwords, customer journey. We have to know customer journey. Well, how do you know customer journey if you don't capture how the customer activities? So that's what this interaction is about. And then this is,
how do you capture the customer data? Are you capturing the actual phone call or the interface, or if it's a voice call, you actually will keep that then?
Yes.
And
so
okay.
So like for we do capture, of course, you know, being in the telecom business, if we are making call, I mean, you know, how many calls I make, what calls I'm making, who I'm calling, we have those, all of those data, but those are all very restricted data. You know, it requires like within our own company, and Lavan knows it very well, and you know, you have to have a special privileges to get to that, but we definitely capture that interaction.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, that gives you more than sometimes just some of the static data.
yes,
That customer, I like. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I like that. Let's tell them a story there. Okay.
thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So then the last one that I wanted to show is the transactional data. Right? Transactional data is kind of, I think I covered it earlier as well. Like, you know, if you go to our e-commerce, I'm just giving, transaction means you can take a card, you know, go to Kroger, is a transaction. If you go to a website trying to buy a phone, is a transaction. So transactions could originate from point of sale, could originate from call center, like, hey, I'm trying to buy a phone, or I'm trying to buy this product, or it can come from the e-commerce, am I right, from a website. So all those transactional data are also why every businesses, whether it's a retail or others, they store it to understand, again, various, how is my business is doing, how much I sold yesterday, what's my forecast, all of that important for people to, understand their businesses, how they're performing. So anyways, like I mean, I could go on, based on the business, industry, but I just kind of captured some of the basic stuff that for all of us to know, am I right? Accounts, subscriptions, products. So I just don't want to repeat again, but I think I hope you guys are, I'm able to making sense here.
Yeah, I think sometimes we talk about analytics a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about the engineering part, the data engineering part, the database part, which is just so important, right? We jump straight over to the analytics, and it's like, hold on, you got to do this part first.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have people that understand this and that can do this. We don't do enough talking about this part. So.
Exactly. Like what I have learned is, Mr. Paul, is any business you go, I mean, and again, I mean, as you can understand, I came from another country and I've been working over here for 20 years. Every industry you go, what I learned is when I was working for FedEx, what does FedEx do? Literally, if you take this, I mean, and I personally, I like about, because that was my first job, and knowing on that business criticality, I just want to give an example. Analytics comes towards the end, but first you have to capture the data. Once you have the data, and once you know what this data is about, analytics is matter of, like, frankly, using a bunch of new tools and technologies, and you'll be able to present it. But for you to present and deep dive on a business analytics, you have to know the data. And then, for example, like one of the criticality when I was working for FedEx is this. FedEx used to have a customer called National Semiconductor in California. Am I right? And I came to this country, and my first job, and then FedEx used to have an agreement with National Semiconductor, and they said, look, if you don't ship these items by 24 hours, like that's my processing, data processing, FedEx used to have, like, they'll be shipping in free. Now think of this way, for a computer glitches or my data processing that I'm talking about here, whether it's an inventory management or it's a order management, any of those have any issues, then FedEx is not able to ship those items to their customers on their service level agreement, which is SLA. Then you have to ship it free. So then I learned it, and being on that job, like a lot of people, it is so critical, they couldn't sustain. Then I understand that how critical for a business, one, to understand the data, and then what is the service level agreement for a customer, because end of the day is all about customer. Then I'll share with you in my next slide. When I say a customer, am I right? Again, it's sometimes it's confusing. Customer is like a consumer, which is you're getting, they are basically buying your products and services. Then we as a business analyst or business person, you are in a company, your customers are also your internal departments. Like I work with Lavan. Lavan is my customer, and I am providing the data to her so that she can do a marketing campaign. Am I right? So why it is so important, I'm just spending a few seconds here, is for us to be successful any of our in professions, we have to make sure that our customers' need are really understood so that you can quickly put together your executions, because that's how it makes us successful. So anyways, any questions?
Internal and external customers.
Sorry,
customers, so when you say customers, the important thing is the both internal and external customer, or were you, or just both of them, or?
Both of them. Yeah, like for example, I'll just give you for an example is like, okay, this is a perfect example. You'll see that I joined as a business graduate, let's just do an AT&T. This is my starting day, and I am dealing with being in a call center, trying to help customer calling me, they are mad at me. So in this case, let's say, Paul, I work in a call center, you call me, hey, my phone is not working, this and that. So I take care of you. You are my customer, which is a definition of a customer. Another internal customer is, let's say Lavan is my boss and she's managing the call center. I have to make sure for me to be successful, not only I have to make sure, Paul, you are happy to make sure your service is taken care, and I also need to make sure that I am meeting Lavan's expectations, and there are peers of Lavan, who could be like managing different divisions of the business. We all have to make sure that as a professional, treat our customers both internally and externally equally, because that's the way you can be successful. So that's what I mean.
Well, that's what I figured you were talking about. That's what I figured you.
Exactly. So right now, Paul, I'll just give you an example so that even more. Right now, you all are my customers, making sure.
No, you know what? Continue. Don't. I'm slowing you down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Please. Yeah. All right. So then I wanted to just spend a few minutes on that. Is again, this is something you don't have to know about it, to be honest with you, but it is important to get an understanding of how all those data gets connected. So as I was mentioning, like, for example, in my house, I have 4 lines. I call it 4 subscribers. You are making a call, phone calls. So I have all the calls data, who is calling and all of those information. So subscriber tying with the calls. Then I was talking to you subscriber demographics. What's the age, gender, am I right? So then you could see that it's how it's connected, that. And then I was talking to you, when are you calling? Like, let's say I called today, yesterday. So that's about everything about date and time, is how it is connected. Next thing is that is what type of a service I have. Is it like such a postpaid or a prepaid? Then what kind of a rate plan? Like, am I on an unlimited plan or not? And then your calling party, are you calling inbound and external calls? So all this data that I was talking to you all is being connected behind the scene in a database in a certain keys. You will hear the word, how the data is connected. Well, data is connected through primary keys or secondary keys. And I think I just wanted to give you that perspective. Not that, day in, day out, you don't have to know a lot, but it is important that as you are working with the data team and you are a business analyst, they'll be telling you all of that. Okay, what do you need? What do you, how they are connected. Sometimes you'll hear that. So it's important to get a quick preview of that. Let's see my time. All right. So with that, I'm going to go to the next slide. I think I covered a lot of that in my previous slide, but I think I just want to stress it, why data is so important for any business. Like, you will hear that, okay, every companies, they will talk about data-driven business decision. We make data-driven business decision. That's the terminologies you will hear all the time. So I just want to say, yep, we all know data is important. Data helps you to make better decisions. Am I right? Finding a new customer, trying to save customer, improving the customer service, and data helps you solve the problems. Am I right? How is my sales going? Is my customer churning? Why I have too many calls yesterday on a call center? Because for a certain zip code there is a network outage. Well, we need to know quickly go and fix the network. So how do we know all of those informations and react? Is based on all the data we capture and able to present it quickly. So that's what it is. And then data helps you to understand performance. Like, for example, how this 5G enabled device, like new 5G devices came in, and also that's it's a new things to the industry right now. Is that helping AT&T to get new customers? Am I right? That's how I know it. All right, yesterday, let's say we come up with a new product or promotions, how that product promotion is doing, we track that on a day in, day out basis. So that's why, again, you need all the data. Data helps you to improve processes. Like, every businesses internally, what we do is, okay, we capture all of those, how my business is performing, department A, how is talking to department B, department C, like company like AT&T is, so big, and 200,000+ employees, and maybe 20, 30, 40 departments. We continue to work on improving our processes. So we capture all those things to make sure that we are performing, how we are spending. Like, we spend, frankly, billions of dollars on media spend. Whether it's a TV advertisement, whether it's a direct mail. How do you know that TV advertisement is giving more customer, or sending an email is getting more customers? So literally, data helps that, am I right? And then also data helps understanding customers. Like, for example, are you going to like this product or not? For example, when we all log on to, like, let's say Netflix or any other streaming TVs, for example, you will see that recommended shows or cinemas. Am I right? Why is that? It's just because we capture this data, and we apply analytics, machine learning, all of that good stuff, and then it comes automatically popping up on our TV screen. Yep, you're going to do that. The other thing is, like, as I was mentioning, churn. Churn is a so important part of our business that helps, again, by understanding customer. And then net promoter score is like, okay, are you liking your current service with AT&T? Are you going to tell your friends that or not? So that's again helps us understanding customers. So that's why, in a nutshell, data is so important for every business these days, because especially if you look at the COVID-19 and everything, how the business is going, they are all living and breathing on the data and making the business decision to improve their business. So if no questions.
Yeah, I've got a quick question. How are you using machine learning? You mentioned a few moments ago about how you use machine learning.
Sure. So first of all, how you do machine learning? There are a couple of things in machine learning. It starts from how much of historical data I have. So for example, I'll give you an example, Paul, with a churn. Like propensity to churn is a perfect use case you will hear in AT&T all the time. The way we do is I have, always you need the historical data. So we have, let's say, 2 to 3 years of historical data in our database, and we see, like taking the, let's say, last 12 years, 12 months of data, and then learn from that 12 months of data, and then see, based on that trend, how is your likelihood of churn of that customer. And some of the characteristic we look at it is this: is your network performance is good? I mean, am I happy with my network performance? Like when I'm talking to Lavan, like let's say 5 times in a day, I'm getting a dropped call. Well, I'm not happy actually. If I get somebody else give me a better service, I'll leave. So some of the services, like, is my bill is high last month, or is my network performance is okay in my home area? Is like all of a sudden, for example, I need to add 5 more lines to it, or so taking some of those attributes of a customer and within historical data, am I right? So we do the data wrangling and making sure that you compile the data in a way you need it, and then you apply like machine learning tools, whether it's a Spark machine learning language or H2O, or we use Palantir. So then you apply tools and technologies. Am I right? You gather the data, you decide on which attributes you are going to do your analysis, and then you apply the tools and technologies. Then once that is done, then you get the trend, and then you basically train on that data and see every month how are you doing it. Am I making sense, Paul?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Always like having examples to them, right?
Yeah.
We use the term, but it's good to see the application.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And you will see, like, Paul, another thing like on machine learning, and again, I'll be very honest with you guys, because I want to be you all sitting on your side and make sure when I'm speaking, you will hear the buzzword machine learning and AI. It will scare you a lot, to be honest with you. And frankly, machine learning we apply, but actual implementation of machine learning, like it's like in universities, you are doing a research. You do a lot of research, and then actual implementation of research is maybe 100 research will create a 1 or 2 an actual product. Same thing on machine learning here as well. In any industry, a lot of data scientists are spending a lot of time, but when it comes to really activate that outcome of that machine learning, it depends how good your model is. Am I right? So that's why you will hear a lot of buzzwords, but I just want to make sure that it's again, at the end of the day, it's all about common sense. So that's
in that example you talked about. Would you be using that? You said you follow a trend. Are you using that for predictive though as well, or?
Yes. So like we do both predictive modeling, like based, like there are 2-3 types of machine learning. One is supervised and unsupervised. We do both predictive and based on a historical data. Yes. And we have a separate organizations who are specially focused and dedicated on that, and they all use my data and tools and technologies. But if you ask me, am I the data scientist? No, but I take care of my customers.
Right, I got it. Okay, cool. Okay.
Cool.
Sorry, guys, I'm only asking more questions.
No, please do, because I want this to be interactive as possible. So then here, what I wanted to spend time is few minutes. Again, not much bombarded with technology. We all have to know that, because that's where the world is moving towards. Like you join to a company, they will say, "What is my data?" Well, my data is in the cloud. Am I right? Or they will say data is on premise. Am I right? So we just need to know on the big picture, not a whole lot as a business analyst or a business person. And then we need to, of course, we need to know about, what is the database. Most of you are probably relational database. We call it RDBMS. And company like AT&T, you can name every database is pretty much available because it's just so big, and not every company is able to afford that. So some of the common databases, as we mentioned here, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, Teradata, Snowflake. You can hear one of the buzzwords is a Snowflake, because most of the companies these days are moving into a Snowflake database, which is a cloud-based database. So that's about relational database. Now, when I say on-premise and cloud, I just want you all to know why it is so important, why the world is moving into the cloud technology. And I'll share in the next slide as well a little bit more. In an on-premise environment, all resources are deployed in a house within an enterprise IT infrastructure, and maintaining and everything happens within the four wall. So what does that mean is, think like 10 years back, I'll call it like this, then it will be better. 10 years back, there was no cloud. So let's say I have a company and I have a retail business. And so what do I have to do? I have to buy the machine, like a server, database, softwares, install it, build a web browser, website, and all of that within my own company. And usually I used to have a big building, and I bought a new building, and building everything within that four wall. I hire new employees to support my infrastructure. That used to be the case in, let's say, 10 years back, which is I'm calling as an on-premise. In these days, what happens is cloud technology is where the world has moved, where there are cloud service provider. You probably heard of it. Of course, you heard of Amazon. We call it AWS. Then Microsoft is Azure, Google, and IBM. Those are the four mainly cloud service provider. AWS is.
Say that again. Repeat that again.
Yeah. So I meant to say
the cloud providers, the main ones you said were.
Four. One is AWS, Amazon AWS, and Microsoft Azure, and then Google Cloud, and then IBM Cloud. So those are the main four cloud service provider are actually controlling the whole world right now. What does that mean? Is probably like majority of the company, I'm sorry, I don't have the stats. You guys probably can Google it and you'll find out. Majority of the companies these days, one way or the other, they are moving to the cloud infrastructure or cloud service provider. What does that mean? It means, like I was giving an example. I build a business. I have all computer, software, services in my four walls. I hired people. Now, Amazon, AWS is saying, look, AK, why are you wasting time on managing your computer infrastructure? You should be focusing on your business, bring new customers. Let us take care of your computer infrastructure, manage it ourselves. You just subscribe it. So what does that mean is that cloud service provider, you can think of this in a layman's term is, let's say they have a big supercomputer. They are saying is that I'm going to give you pieces of my computer power to you, and then you make sure you bring it your data. I will manage for you. You don't have to worry about electricity. You don't have to worry about anything. I will take care for you, and hence you don't need your employees to manage it. So companies are doing that a lot, and maybe I should go to the next slide, in which is you will see some of those. Why are we doing that? Companies are doing that because one, and most importantly, is the cost. I don't need to have managing people, having computers tomorrow. Tomorrow my business is growing. I need a better computer. Well, I don't have to worry about it. Amazon or Microsoft and Azure, they are basically taking care of for you. It's almost like that you go to them. It's a one-stop environment. All of your computer need, software need, support, everything, they are taking care of it. So why it is important? Any business you go today, one or the other, there is a cloud migration project going on. So which is what Lavan and I were doing over the last 2.5 years. We migrated our lot of MarTech technology stack to the cloud from AT&T's on-prem environment. Like AT&T used to be a big data center, big machines, a lot of people. I mean, across the country, lot of data centers. You will hear the word data center, meaning big building with a lot of computers, a lot of people working on it, checking around the clock. And a lot of money is invested on that. Now they have decided to close those data centers, move into AWS, and we are actually, our service provider is Azure. So we are moving everything to the Azure. So Microsoft has their infrastructure, processes, people managing that. So why it is important? In any business you go, you will hear the cloud. We're moving to cloud. What is that cloud? Well, that's what the cloud is about. So again, why I kind of mentioned that scalability, cost savings, disaster recovery, accessibility, resilience, business focus, and I think we'll share these slides, Lavan. I don't need to go each words here. So it is important for every business, and especially personally, this one I like, business focus. We all are business people. We are going to join to one or the other companies. Everybody will expect, okay, how can I be efficient? It's like this, because my business is growing. I can scale it with a few button of a clicks and say, you know what, tomorrow I'll have my retail business, and day before Christmas, I'll have a lot of transactions. Well, we need to brief up our computer. In the earlier days, like I was working on that stored value system, gift card processing. Day before Christmas, like a lot of gift card sales. We used to have like 2 months before in that company, adding more CPU, processing unit, more storage, like a more disk, more RAM, to make sure that we can survive this Christmas. Now we don't have to worry that much. We just have to scale it. Literally, I can say we have that control as a company. We can go to Amazon website. And by the way, it's all of it free. You can try and go to Amazon.com and log in there, and then you can have like 30-40 days of subscriptions of that environment if you guys want to try it out. So you can scale your machine and computer overnight. I don't have to worry about it. So that's the cloud benefits. Again, any questions, or you want to continue? Let's see.
I've got one later. So later on, I'll talk with you afterwards too. Then right. So I'm gonna do it right now. So.
All right, thank you, Paul. So this, again, I think I covered most of those technology buzzwords. I just want you guys to know that any company you join and you are a business analyst or business manager, you will hear this. Oh, we are going to apply AI and machine learning, and we're going to make life better. Oh, we are moving to the cloud. Okay, what is cloud? Now. What is RDBMS? Oh, what is Python? Right? We'll talk about this. Python is a programming language. If some of you here, if you are close to technology, part of Java, C, C++, and all of that. These days, Python is the main programming language. RDBMS, I touched on that. Cloud computing, I touched on that. Machine learning, I touched a little bit with Paul's use cases. artificial intelligence is another example. And the best way I want to describe AI is this. I was talking to my son. I said, look, when we do this Siri, right, how the Siri responses to us when I ask a questions, that's an example of an artificial intelligence. It acts like human, and it understands the pattern of human behavior, and then start responding to you like a human. And machine learning is nothing but a subset of artificial intelligence. Like it gathers data, historical data, and then apply tools and technologies tell you what's happening, or it's do the predictions based on some of the data that you have. So it's kind of a subset of that. But again, you just have to know the basics. We don't have to get in too much about as an initial, joining to a company, but you will hear those buzzwords. Again, do not worry at all, because this just like there are specialized people are responding to a specialized function. Not that every areas we have to be expert at it, but these are the words that you will hear. And then I think I have more slides. This is one of the examples that I think I covered already, but I just want to keep closing down, thinking again from a business perspective. We know that data. I kind of mentioned about the various data domain. Then I talked about some of the technologies that are in currently industries are being used. And then some of the use cases I discussed as I was going through it. but I wanted to spend more time on a little bit on what we do in AT&T, where we spend time. So customer churn, right? So now if you look at it, our business, AT&T, I don't know how many businesses we do, everything we do, but we do, especially on the postpaid, prepaid, am I right? Wireless. Then you have a broadband, fiber, am I right? Which is internet connections. Then also we have a TV. Now in TV, we can get it from, like a direct TV, Ever's TV, streaming TV, am I right? So each product line, we do a customer churn, right? And for each product line, we have folks on like departments, just like 20, 30, 40, 50 people any given day are looking at customer churn, what's happening yesterday versus today. Now, churn can be two different ways. Again, in telecom world, it could be a voluntary churn, it could be an involuntary churn. Voluntary churn meaning, Verizon is giving me a better deal, I'm moving out. And involuntary churn could be like, okay, you've not been paying for the last 3 months or something like that. So companies are basically disconnecting your services. So both vol and invol churn analytics is so critical for telecom. Especially it's a very competitive world, am I right, with Verizon and T-Mobile and Sprint merger. It's every day a challenge for our organization. So that's a majority of this people are spending time. Then this is another one is important. Is why device upgrade is an important. I'll just give you an example so that you know from a basics perspective. Is you heard of that? When you go to and buy a phone, whether it's a 2-year contract or is a 1-year contract or no contract. We'd like to know how you are upgrading. As soon as there is a new phone comes up, we try to upgrade it. Am I right? What does that mean if a new phone came up and let's say Mr. Paul upgraded from a Samsung to an iPhone 12 and took a 2 years of contract? What does that mean? Two things. Great. Mr. Paul has migrated to a new phone, which means Mr. Paul most likely is going to stick to AT&T for 2 years. Because anytime when you upgrade a new phone, most likely those people are going to stick with you. So this is device upgrading from one device to the another. We check it a lot, make sure that this helps the customer churn, this helps customer satisfactions, and all of that. Am I right? And also, as Lavan was mentioning earlier, we don't manufacture phone anymore. We get it from iPhone and Samsung. We need to manage our inventory. How many people are upgrading in a given day? Is my store has that much of phone? So it is so critical. Devices are so critical for our business. And then product performance. Product performance is like this. Like in telecom world, we have it used to be so many plans. You won't believe it. When I joined to AT&T, our product table or product data, like I just don't know, like tens of thousands of products in our company. We are streamlining that as we go because more product means more confusions to customers, and hence managing is an issue all across internally, externally, for customers. So product performance is like, as an example, like unlimited plan. Am I right? We come up with an unlimited plan where it used to be like 1 GB, 2 gigabytes, or 1 gigabytes, or 500 MB. If you go more than 1 GB, then you pay $15 per month, all kinds of craziness. So we track all of those product performance any given day. Like you will see, like during the Christmas time or before the school starts, there are some offerings, because we need the new people coming in. So every time when there is a product launch happens, my executives will be on my back. How AK, yesterday this product, how are you doing business? So we have to be on the top of it to telling my executives, yep, this is how we are doing it and all that good stuff. So that's the product performance. Cross-sell. Cross-sell is another terminology you will hear a lot, if you go to a business where they do multiple things. So in our cases, like as I was mentioning, we do postpaid, prepaid, TV business, broadband business, am I right? So let's say I am a mobility customer, I'm an wireless customer. is this customer, if we can sell that customer, TV as well, that's great for AT&T, am I right? So we look at how many people has a wireless. Do they have also broadband? Do they have also TV? Vice versa, am I right? So let's say we bought the company Warner Media. You probably guys know that. HBO, am I right? All HBO TV that we have bought from Warner Media. Now what we are doing is, okay, there are customers HBO has. Let's say, I'm just giving an example. Let's say HBO has a 50 million customers, and we have wireless 70 million customers, for an example. So there is a subset of customer that HBO has, but wireless don't have it. Where wireless have, HBO don't have it. So that populations, if we can reach to them, it's a new business for us. Cross-sell is frankly, we have a department for that. There is a BP organization managing that cross-sell. So it is so huge. And then we have marketing campaign. Like this is where Lavan and I work every day. A marketing campaign, like you get like taking all the data, right? Like let's say this is a perfect example, Paul, of a machine learning, and I'll give you that example right now. Is you and I did that customer churn and analytics, and now we said this segment of people are most likely going to leave. Well, let's reach out to them via email, SMS, direct mail to make sure that they don't leave. Am I right? So that's a perfect example of output of a machine learning analytics, whether it's a machine learning or analytics, doesn't matter. Output of an analytics is perfect use case is reaching to the customers to make sure they stick around. And then next is the fraud. Fraud is every business is a fraud, right? And then lastly, executive dashboarding, which is I was mentioning, is all of those things together. End of the day, you will be a lot hearing. Our executives will be asking, give me a summary of everything, what's going on, am I right? So that's an example of an executive dashboard that I was just mentioning. You guys will be building a lot if you are a business analyst using various tools and technologies. And I won't go to those details, but how many subscribers, what's the revenue, what's the expense, how is texting versus voice versus data is doing, how is our network performance is doing, how is our subscriber base by states. This is how an executive dashboard will look like when any company go something on other will be folks will be asking, give me an executive dashboard. So that's an example. Again, I won't take too much time on this. We will use various tools and technology, but I will recommend right now, there's only one thing because it's very close to my heart, is if you are going to be a successful business professional, you will be asked to do a slice and dice, quick, fast, furious. You need a tool. Of course, Excel is one basic start. We all use it, but I will recommend use Tableau or BI and learn a little bit of SQL or a little bit of data. But I will definitely say one thing, learn Tableau or Power BI. Power BI is a free, by the way. Power BI desktop is a free. You can download in your PC. Tableau is not so much free. But if you get a little bit of expertise on those two areas, the job is, I'm going to say almost like guaranteed because a lot of people are asking this these days. And you will be looking like a shiny business people if you know those two things. So anyways.
Students can get Tableau for a year for free.
Yep, Lavan, if we can get some free Tableau, that will be good. I think universities should have some college subscriptions, Paul. I think so.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think I'm just open for questions. Sorry, I went too fast probably or too much of information. I'm sorry, but I tried.
No, that was great, AK. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really great. Does anyone have any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to tell AK I enjoyed it. It was a bit over my head, but I took notes. Definitely have tried Tableau. I can't even say the name. That was very, very helpful knowing that I'm somewhat on the cutting edge, but yes. I definitely need a little bit more help with it. I just want to tell you, thank you so much. This was really, really helpful. It kind of expanded my mind, even though I'm not in that space, expanded my mind to want to know more about it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, welcome. And by the way, Lavan, in future, I don't mind to share a little bit more about Tableau, absolutely, to my friends here. Yeah. That's not a problem at all. I'm happy to help.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good if we can do that again, maybe next semester, if we can't fit it in the semester.
And also from Fort Valley State University, this is Mr. Stiles from the Office of Career and Professional Development. I would like to say thank you as well. A lot of pivotal information that's crucial that we can use here. And so we definitely thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think what AK mentioned, and I see Dean Udoka, AK mentioned, you know, this is meant to give you kind of like a brief overview, right? You could go really deep and it might have been, you know, a bit much, but we want you to definitely have exposure. I think this bit of exposure, if you can go back and listen to the recording again, I think it will definitely position you well in any kind of marketing, general business, any kind of internship or interview process you go into. You'll definitely be a great candidate with this type of information. Sorry, Dean Udoka.
Thank you so much, Levon. Thank you, AK. I want to sincerely thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. It is right on target on what we aim to get out of this series, which is to provide that high-level view of data and how it's used in business, and to provoke that inquisitiveness, to have folks willing to go look deeper, take a deeper dive in some of these areas like Tableau. So I am grateful to you for your presentation. And Levon, thank you so much for your coordinating this series. It is doing what it's intended to do. Thank you so much. And to my colleagues on the call, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. I was excited and I'm happy to help more. Thank you.
Yes, you guys will be seeing AK again for sure. Thank you so much, AK.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Look forward to it.
Jay. Yeah, Jay.
Thank you. And for all the students, if you missed any parts of the recording, it will be posted to the CAU website. So you can always go back and check it as a reference. Oops, go ahead. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.